Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, tonight's the night for the college's big scavenger hunt. However, someone's hunting them. Tonight's movie, Girls' Night Out.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Yes, the year that is full of cuts, guts, and sluts. Anyways, tonight, we are going to go back to the loved, the beloved, the wonderful slasher genre in a picture called The Scaremaker. Actually, it says Girls' Nights Out. I mean, we got some lovely, lovely ladies here. I don't get it. Anyway, so, Girls' Night Out. What is this movie about? Well, it is about some happenings at a college. And this college has a kind of a dark moment in its past where a woman had broke up with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend really took it poorly, by murdering her. Anyways, he ends up in an insane asylum. Fast forward to present time, and that same murderer seemingly commits suicide. However, when the people tasked with burying the body end up getting killed and the body ends up missing, we are about to wonder if perhaps something is going to be loosed upon the campus, and its desire is for murder. And of course, it just so happens to be right around the time that the biggest event of the semester is about to occur, and that is the all-night scavenger hunt. So while you have college co-eds going about scavenging for items, there's a deranged killer going about scavenging for victims. Yes, so let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I am going to give this a 2 out of 5. Even though you have a bear with razor blade claws, it's not very bloody. There's a fair amount of kills, a lot of, there's the big scene that most people I've seen point out to is an aftermath of one of the kills, and the lady's kind of hung up, and really, most of the time, it's either a little bit off camera or just not very graphic, not much gore effects going on, but still there's quite a few kills, and there is blood, so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. Definitely below average for your slasher fare. So moving on to shock value. Shock value is a 1 out of 5. There aren't really any jump scares in this movie that really gets you. I guess there's that kind of crash through scene, but overall, the only thing that's shocking is kind of the killer reveal at the end. Though I do have to say that the movie does have some good atmosphere, and it does kind of create a little bit of creepiness through the night's activities. But overall, not very shocking. 1 out of 5. Moving on to plot. Plot, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. It's the movie is kind of a mess at the beginning, because I don't know if it's what they're trying to do, what they're trying to establish as the characters that we kind of, gleam onto. Because generally there's usually 1 or 2 characters that we kind of, put our stakes in. Even if it's an ensemble cast, usually there's, gravitate toward sort of a main and a second that we can kind of hit. And I thought that they were trying to do that at the beginning, because there's this basketball scene, and this guy was having some trouble concentrating because his girlfriend was girlfriend dumped him, and we can see almost the parallels to the whole previous evil, but those characters kind of get pushed off, especially the guy who was having the problems, which I thought, they could have created a sympathetic main character, and he just kind of does fuck all toward the halfway through the movie and toward the end. It's kind of strange. And also, it takes a lot of time to get to the, the action. And there's just a lot of, like, I don't know, I guess introductions of characters that are, going to be involved somewhat in there. But then there are, like, these two comic relief characters, and they just sort of disappear in the movie, but they're not really involved in any of the plot, so to speak. It's kind of a mess. And because of that, I think, they could have, like, snapped it up and maybe, cut some of the storylines, cut some of the fat and concentrate more on the actual slasher elements, and perhaps it would flow better. But by the end, even though I do like the reveal, it just overall it's kind of a mess. So 2 out of 5. Moving on to acting. I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. Just average acting for the most part. Nothing spectacular. Some overacting, some decent acting, and some just, blah acting, par for the course. 2.5 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity, and Nudity is a 80s slasher film. Hot chicks on the block. Named Girls' Night Out. Well, unfortunately, the movie was originally titled The Scaremaker, and it's a 0 out of 5. And there's reasons behind this. The guys who made this, they wanted to make a film at this college. I think it was their alma mater. And they said, okay, we'll agree to it. Let's look at the script. They looked at the script and they're like, oh man, there's a lot of sex. There's a lot of violence. Maybe we tone it down a little bit. So they kind of craft it to get approval. They get approval. They get, they start casting. They start getting everything ready. And before it's time to shoot, all of a sudden, they're like, no, we can't do it. Just too violent, it's just, we can't do it. So they had to scramble to find another college campus to film on. And probably by that time, they've already got the actors and actresses, and they've already got their agreements. And it's like, they're probably like, no, we're not going to show our tits. Oh no, we're not going to, like, reshoot, some of the extra violent scenes. We probably already got our special effects crew, and they're like, I can't really make a realistic blood spray. I don't know about some of that stuff, but it seems like they kind of got hamstrung because of that original agreement, and it sort of became kind of a watered down type of movie. In fact, it's R-rated, but this is probably more like a PG-13 movie today. And so, 0 out of 5. And so now moving on to my enjoyment factor, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. And I think this movie has really suffered because of, it's trying not to be too violent, trying not to be too salacious, and it suffers for that. And the reason I brought up the title Scaremaker was because that was the original title of the film. And when it was released, I think it didn't get much traction, and so some time had passed, and kind of more sleazy horror movies were starting to get some traction in the box office. So they kind of remarketed the movie, and there's a trailer in the Arrow Video release that is just like some girl who's obviously, like, not wearing any underwear. I mean, she's like, I think she's in bed and she's got sheets covering her naughty bits, and it just kind of makes this, like, sort of suggestion that this is going to be like a wild, sexy, violent thrill ride. And they changed the name to Girls' Night Out, because girls, they're going to be the victims. They're going to be, doing naughty things maybe. And the whole ad campaign for that just kind of shifted. And I think that also kind of doomed the movie, because I'm sure people were looking for a certain thing and being very disappointed with what they found. And then I kind of fell for it too. But I'm not saying that it's a bad movie. I'm just saying that it is a disappointing movie that could have been better, I think, if they were allowed to unleash themselves. And even if they just, still had nudity, if they just focused on the killer more, focused on the killings and the blood and the slasher elements, just go full bore with the slasher, I think we might have had like a much more decent, maybe even good movie here, because there are elements and there are things that I like, but the whole package just kind of just doesn't work in its entirety. So 2 out of 5, my overall impression is a 2 out of 5. It is a subpar, below average slasher. However, it's I picked it up, and I'm not lamenting picking it up. It's one of those things where when you're a fan of the genre and you're a fan of horror, sometimes you just get misses, and you learn from those misses, and it helps you to more appreciate the hits by sometimes getting the misses, which is a sad thing, 'cause potential is here. And I just think, it was a victim of circumstance. So 2 out of 5 overall impression. That averages out to a pretty poor 1.6 out of 5. Yeah, it's a shame. Girls' Night Out, or The Scaremaker. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Did you like Girls' Night Out? Do you think it was great and I'm missing the point? Or I'm just being a little bit too, needy on certain aspects of the film? I mean, it's totally possible. I'd like to hear what you think, and I will like to also once again thank you for watching another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, and I will see you next time. And until then, stay scary, internet, and also remember, if you are going to be burying a psychopathic killer, and it's going to be the middle of the night, you might want to just say, hey, you know what? Why don't we just put the guy, first of all, I don't even know how quick you can do this. I mean, he just committed suicide. There's some legal things going there. If I was the guys who had to do the burying, I'd be like, shouldn't we have, I don't know, the coroner show up so we could do an autopsy, make sure that he's, committed suicide or is actually dead, and then have the body released to the next of kin so that they can bury him instead of you just randomly bury. I mean, what kind of an operation are you running here, people? You're just one of your guys dies, you just bury them somewhere? What, in the backyard? Do you have a plot that you just have access to 24/7 where they'll just, yeah, you could just bury that thing here, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyways, nah.